Hello and welcome to the Hungaroring. A big apology. We desperately tried to get the stream starting. We had a few technical issues that Fabian Jungbluth, our brilliant broadcast director, has been working overtime to fix. We're on lap 5 of 35. We only missed the first 5 laps, and as you can see, it's a very familiar story this season as Alex Laho through turns 8 and 9, just flirting with the edges of track limits there. But the Frenchman, of course, he is leading the championship going into this race by 84 points from the man you can just see behind him in the Emerald Hummingbird, Patrick Rozak, of course. And Laho, after taking pole position, has led from the start. The big story a bit further down is Che Hatch in third, who has made a brilliant start to get a second Hugh car onto the podium. Che Hatch, of course, won so brilliantly in the reverse grid race at Spa last time out a few weeks ago, and is backing up his teammate. Damien Cardas was overtaken by Che Hatch at the start after qualifying P3, but he is still running in a very high P3 as there's a yellow flag somewhere out there. I think Massimiliano Riboli's in trouble, and so too is Wesley Stefano, who's dropped all the way down to P19 there. We have already lost, sadly, Michel Galka before we got the broadcast going. There's Scott Flagg, making contact at turn 1 with Francesconi there. And Francesconi is our highest runner on the hard tyres here. So he is fighting away lots of contact with Scott Flagg. He's got the inside for 3, and now he cuts across into 4 there. And you can see just behind is Pessi Mikkonen, who qualified in the top 10, is trying to get back into it on the soft tyres here. So Scott Flagg really having to get his elbows out, the Australian, at a track he has excelled at and won at before. Eoin. By the way, I'm Edward Hunter. Alongside me, Eoin Harmon in the commentary box. Sorry to make you wait so long to get started, Eoin, but let's get into it.
Yeah, I had an enforced absence 2 weeks ago, but all is fine and dandy now. So thank you very much to Amir, who stepped in for me, and of course yourself, Ed, and Fabian, who broadcast the Belgian Grand Prix 2 weeks ago. But it's back down to business here in FS1. The Alex Laho show continues so far. 1.5 seconds advantage over Patrick Rozak, his nearest contender for the title. But definitely good to see CM Tech here with Grimalizi just hanging about, trying to pick up as many points as possible. And of course, Damien Cardas in P4. That's an interesting situation for him. So big points on offer for some of our other midfield teams as well as the big boys.
Yeah, I just seen Carlos Martin, a former winner at this event in FS1. Just saying that Alex was, I think to put it politely, miturating over everybody. So, but I wouldn't put it quite that way. I think Rozak's still within a second and a half, and he's clearly the closest threat to him at the moment. Che Hatch will hope to back him up there. But there is Grimalizi, of course. It's a all replacement lineup. Well, replacement maybe is a little bit uncharitable, because Grimalizi, as we've seen last couple of rounds, very competitive, a couple of top 5, top 4 finishes to his name. Was a bit unlucky, got into an incident in race 1 at Spa before recovering ground, finishing solidly in the points in race number 2. But the Italian, he's definitely a man with his star on the rise, as you can see him trying to put pressure on James Knox, doing another fill-in round for James Juba at Bodal Racing Team, and Lucas Tylin is just behind. And of course, thinking ahead, this is a difficult track to overtake on, as Hamming, our man third in the championship, has made a mistake and lost a load of positions. He was on the hard tyres as well. He's lost his front wing there. So absolute disaster for Frank Hamming, and that is going to seriously compromise his chance of scoring points as through goes Gazowski and Miram there.
Yeah, major blow, and that's what happened. Facing
spun it out of turn 8, I think.
Turn 8 has already claimed him, so on corner exit, yeah, he's lost control. Actually, no, it's coming up now, sorry.
So he was P13 when this happened.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. The curb got him, yeah. That's unlucky.
Yeah, I seem to remember. I think it was I forget exactly who it was. It was one of the green stripe drivers in Super League had a pretty much identical accident where they just got too far over the curb, carrying too much speed, spun up the rear tyres, and from then on, you're a passenger. The front wing is going to be made collateral. And so Hamming into the pits now, and always with Grimalizi having a bit of connection issues before it restabilizes itself. That's a small worry for the Italian. Again, speaking of Super League, anybody who's watched Alessandro Maggio's horrendous run of bad luck will know that the internet, the Wi-Fi, is more than a little bit unstable at points. Not stable enough to last the distance of a Super League Grand Prix event. Luckily, Formula Sprint 1, the races are a little bit shorter, so we are 8 laps in. Frank Hamming, though, having to make his stop so early, now has got to, well, he's switched from hards to softs, that's the problem. So he has got to be really quick and make the moves on this soft tire stint before pitting again for softs and then having to make more moves. If there's a bit of attrition with the slightly lower attendance we have today, 22 cars still running at the moment, Frank Hamming might be able to get points here, but he's got to rely on the fresh tyres doing the work for him, because in terms of track position, this is going to be a very hard slog for Frank in the rest of this one now after that costly mistake.
Oh, absolutely. You can see now turns 1 into 2. That's probably your prime overtaking point. Not quite in the case of Scott Flack for a little while, but eventually he did make his way through. But in this current queue, hoping to enter the top 5, Grimaleezy just probably sensible to just follow for the time being. But here's a battle for the chance to be close to a championship point, but not quite there yet. Gazowski, Patrick Roszak's teammate, is fending off Perseus Miram, who's standing in for 0-1 Esports today. So they're within 2/10 of each other. Barely able to separate them, but Philip Koenig currently occupies the final points paying position of P15, and he has a 3-second buffer pretty much in his control right now, but that can all change, as we've seen, of course, with Hamming, who lost control just after this corner coming up.
Yeah, it's deceptively punishing and difficult circuit, the Hungaroring, because you sort of think, oh, it's a slightly faster version of Monaco, essentially, where it's really tight, narrow, difficult to overtake. But there are places where you can very easily get tripped up. There may not be barriers, but there are plenty of high curbs in which you can spin your rear tyres on. And and that start-finish straight does lend itself to an overtaking opportunity into turn 1 and into 3 as well. There's a sort of slight kink after 1, which is turn 2. You can just see it in front of Amari Watson here, who unfortunately for the second round in a row, the sole potential to start this race, our 2023 champion Jack Mayer, seems to have abandoned, I don't want to say abandoned hope. Hopefully he's just gone on holiday or something for this race and the previous one at Spa. But Amari Watson, there's not been a replacement at Potentia at Joshua Dexter's team, not even Josh Dexter himself deigning to give FS1 another go. So poor Amari Watson has had to hold up Potentia's team's championship hopes all on his lonesome. Unfortunately, stuck behind Thailand in P8. There's a big train forming behind Che Hatch here, who's dropped about 2 seconds behind Rozak now, who's himself is 2 seconds behind Laho. So Hatch just a bit under pressure from Cardaz, Knox, Grimaleezy, Thailand, and Watson. When you've got a big group ganging up on you, it takes a lot of focus, a lot of concentration, just to make sure you're not distracted. Of course, all of them on the same strategy pretty much as well, depending on how long they want to go into the race on these softs. So the pit stops will be the key one here. We know Hamming is sort of in clear air, but on a very compromised strategy, having to pit so early off of the hard tyre. So some people might be watching his lap times on the soft tier. 124.3 last lap for Hamming. So he is matching what Laho is doing in the lead, of course. Both of them have got clear air in front of them. As you can see, Frank Hamming really pushing the limits to make up for that earlier faux pas. But well, he's got nothing to lose here, doesn't he? And he may as well push it. As we see, Pessi Mikkonen is now putting pressure on Francesco. And you can see Flack has disappeared up the road since getting through. And now it's Mikkonen's turn to try and do the same.
Yeah, so HGP with that hard strategy for both drivers. But Francesco is the only one who can maintain it. As, of course, he needs to keep going to make it worth it. Oh, that was close on those curves.
Lots of curve for Mikkonen on the inside. Yeah. I thought he was going flying there, especially after what happened to poor Rozak at Spa. Yeah. I wouldn't. You'd forgive some of these FS1 drivers for giving the curbs just a little bit of. That was opportunistic. But again, Francesconi shut the door. He's not about to be undone that easily then. So Pessi Mikkonen, the young upstart rookie, isn't he, from, of course, Finland, giving the Italian Michael Francesconi, who's been in Super Light, Super League, has been there and done that in GPV. As Mikkonen gets very, very sideways there. The softs, clearly the rear tyres on these softs are starting to overheat here. And that is a bad sign for stint preservation. We just saw Miram as well, who was stuck behind Gazowski on the softs. He's decided to go for, I think, another set of softs and has emerged in P20 then. So maybe Miram having an issue like Hamming, or potentially just going really aggressive on strategy and committing to the 2-stop here. You really only want to ideally be doing the 1-stop at Hungary unless you got the clear air.
Yeah, of course. It's moderately long pit lane. Certainly the entry can be a bit deceiving sometimes. You can win at speed, but then on exit, everyone else is full tilt and they're just about to hit the braking zone, because you have to be on the brakes pretty soon after pit exit anyway. So it is very important to know when to pit, and not a moment too soon either, or else your strategy will fall to bits. But in this current queue, Grimaleezy just holding his own behind James Knox, and then Tylene and Watson would dearly love a chance to overtake and improve their chances come potentially race 2 and the reverse grid draw for 6th place downwards. So if you get that 6th place, then you have certainly a chance to get the reverse grid pole, but it's a bit unlikely, of course, but you're certainly hoping your number appears and no one else's in that draw. Whereas a P10, it's the worst case scenario for you, and into the box goes James Knox.
Knox in box. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss poem, but there we go. James Knox decides, you could see him really struggling, especially through turn 12 there. He's got really sideways over the curb, and Grimaleezy actually did well not to punt into the back of him there. But this commits Bodil, of course, to switching to the hard tyres. You can get the hards to the end from here with a bit of careful management. Of course, Marcus Laggy, the local Hungarian driver as well, didn't really get to the end of either FS2 round, so he's hoping now with this strategy call can get him up the order here in FS1. So Muscat and Hamming both had to pit early, so Jason Muscat should come out behind James Knox and Sislagi, as well as we see Grimaleezy now going wide through turn 4 and 5, and through goes Lucas Tylin. So the Italian making a big error. Looks like Amari Watson, as Grimaleezy is all over the grass as they go into turn 6 and 7, the chicane, and Watson will be breathing a sigh of relief there. They didn't get taken out by Grimaleezy getting absolutely out of control. So everybody's starting to run out of soft tyres at this point, apart of course from our race leader Loho, who looks very untroubled in the mid 24s at the moment. Fastest lap being set by Hamming. I think he said a 23.7 the lap before this one he's just done, which is a 24.2.
Yeah, conditions around the Hungaroring are very similar to what was shown at Spa-Francorchamps, so preserving these tyres will not be easy. And there we go, Francesco needs to come in for the tyre change. The graining would get too serious, particularly on that left front. That looks pretty grim to me. So yeah, better off heading into the pits and changing that as soon as possible. Watching out, of course, for Knox's undercut. You'll see exactly how that goes. Yeah, it looks pretty strong here for the bottle. This should be an easy overtake. Just heading down start finish. By the time, yeah, Grimaleezy's on throttle, he's only going to be released from the clutches of the speed limit now. So yeah, that's a great piece of strategy from Bottle Racing, and they have the chance to improve their luck even more with Tylin and Watson. They'll be eager to get as much data as they can before they have to pit.
Yeah, big gap actually now as well, because Knox really pushed it on that first lap out of the pits then. As we cut to Mikkonen, now in P9 of course, and again still stuck behind Francescone. You can see that 2.7 second gap in front of them is just starting to really increase. The interesting thing is that train that was behind James Knox, I noticed that Flack was gaining about 0.4 per lap while they were all stuck behind each other. Now that they've sort of been released, Flack didn't have a great lap that last time around, 26.2, and Watson 25.6, Filin 25.0, Cardas 25.5 this lap just completed, and Che Hatch 25.0. In comes Tylin, there we go. So KKR also deciding to respond to those behind, and Scott Flack too is coming in. So the question now is, are we going to see the likes of Watson, Cardas and Hatch start responding? So it's basically everybody trying to cover each other off here. Oh, Owen, I think we might have lost you. Or am I speaking over you now? I don't know. Okay, right, we have lost Owen Harmon, sadly, as Heldjanovic for Team Iris is also in the pits, is the Greek driver, or Czech Republic driver, I should say. There is the Greek team, of course, and Heldjanovic gets out just ahead of Lucas Mataluk, who pit a lap earlier. So they're in a battle for what's currently the last 2 points paying positions, and up the inside goes Mataluk, a race winner in Formula Sprint 2. Heldjanovic, the rear tyres still just getting up to temperature, and Mataluk takes advantage. You can see just behind is Mark Sislagi, the Hungarian, trying to get just into the points here from P16, but he is on the hard tyres behind the two in front of him. He has gone from softs to the hards on 2 laps ago then. So he's got the oldest tyres of the bunch. But that was a crucial move for Madaluk and for Bodal then. 20 laps to go, and Cardas is pitting from P4.
Yeah, it's important now to see how he gets on.
Yeah, Eoin's back. Okay.
Yeah, there I am, yeah. Yeah, just a little bit of lag there. Sorry about that. Mary Watson is in, and Mikkonen is in. So this is James Knox. Oh, he almost lost control there. I know it has.
Oh, I wonder if did he get tapped in the rear? Can't have been tapped in the rear, because I don't think Watson was anywhere near him. Unless it was, Mikkonen stopping a box right behind him. But yeah, we've seen a couple of pit lane collisions before. Through goes Grimmelisi, so Watson is going to come out behind Grimmelisi. Filin, though, has actually been able to stay ahead of Grimmelisi and get into that gap. So in between Knox and Grimmelisi, we've got Cardas and Tylin. So pitting a bit later has actually worked out well for the both of them.
Absolutely, then. Raymond Van Soest just getting lapped there, so he has to respect everyone else's race. At the moment, he pulls well alongside to clear the way. And Cardas, we're pretty pleased with this. I know James Knox is a little bit too far away to be overtaken with DRS assistance at the moment. But yeah, it's still a good sign. He's got ahead of Tylene and Grimmelisi and Watson, of course. So Scott Flack as well has to keep pushing to make up for the time.
Leaders are pitting.
There we go. Top 2 are in. Jay Hatch is also in, so it'll be a double stack yet again for Hugh Performance, and yeah, that one has to be very much pre-planned. Yeah, absolutely spot on.
Yeah, because that caught them out in Sepang when they did this. Jay Hatch did have to wait about a second and a half or so for Alex Laho, and it didn't pan out for him. So yeah, they had the gap, but crucially, James Knox with a big undercut. How close is it going to be? I think he's already through. Potentially there he is, coming to the end of the pit lane, so James Knox will get through. Can Cardas go around the outside of the Englishman too? It's Guy 82 versus Hugh into turn 1, and Cardas is shown the door by Jay Hatch then on those hard tyres then, and Cardas is weaving around. The Polish driver not happy. He's diving up the inside into turn 3 there, and again he finds the Vietnamese machine in the way then. So Damien Cardas really frustrated that Hugh have got the drop on him here.
Yeah, he knows this is his best opportunity to overtake.
Cardas is on the hards, by the way, not the softs.
Yes,
so you don't believe your eyes or your ears sometimes, ladies and gents.
Yeah, your lion eyes. Yeah, that will be corrected, I'm sure. But with the temperature up for Damien, that's when he knows it's his best opportunity to attack. But once Che...
Oh, I think unfortunately we just lost Eoin again. So, so of course Che Hatch getting his tyres up to temperature, hoping to challenge James Knox. The other interesting thing is we have got our 3 hard runners. Alex Laho has gotten out ahead of Philip Koenig. So Francesconi now leads the race. But in between Laho, we have got Koenig, who has got Rozak all over the back of him. Patrick Rozak's teammate Gazowski is not going to be a threat to him whatsoever. As we see Koenig defending here a little bit into turn 1 before opening the door, driving into the side of Patrick Rozak there, and that's actually hurt Koenig more than anything because it's allowed Gazowski to get along the outside of him. Can Matthias Gazowski go the long way around the German Philip Koenig here into turn 3? No, he cannot then. So Rozak getting a kind of punch in the face there, which is not going to help him close down on Alex Laho there. The only hope now for Patrick Rozak is if Michael Francesconi can hold him up as well and really extend this stint. It would be interesting to see if he does, as we see again Gazowski still all over the back of Philip Koenig here, and it's good to see Koenig, despite that hit with Patrick Rozak, defending well against Matthias Gazowski then. So these two have not had a whole lot of luck this season, and it's good to see them performing well, but all this battling is allowing Knox to catch them quickly, and the question is, how badly is Knox now going to get held up? We've already seen a bit of contact from these two, from the pitters, so are these people who've been on the hard since the start going to become a problem to our front runners?
Yeah, it really could play a small part, but certainly with the dummy there potentially for Gazowski, it will affect Knox's opportunity to overtake. The double slipstream will help him a little bit, but he's going to have to be brave into turn 2 most likely, unless he picks his moment down the inside, and Matthias we'll have to yield to that one. That was certainly well played down the inside. And Gazowski wants to get a little bit of payback. We can see the graining is affecting him a bit. Oh, understeer to oversteer moment there for James Knox, but the grip should help him back through. Oh, pushed very wide there, but I think that's just within the boundaries into turn 3 there. So James Knox does get one move completed, but he needs to do it all over again against Koenig.
Yeah, there we go. So Gazowski was a fair bit more cooperative with Knox than Koenig was with Rozak there. Yo Sopinen's response to that defensive chop from Koenig was, I think, 28 question marks posted in the chat. So I'm a bit confused too. But yeah, either way, Knox going a bit offline through turn 3 caused the rear tires to lose grip. And that was what nearly caused that massive collision with Gazowski through turn 4 there. Knox turned back across the front of him, and Gazowski had to sort of get out of it there. Now, Matis Gazowski's got Che Hatch catching him, and into the pits comes Koenig. He's decided, well, I'm not going to collide with another car while defending this position. I'm going to get well out of it. It looks like Francesconi's also pit, so Alex Laho does retake the lead from Patrick Rozak. The gap now 5 seconds, of course, so Laho has been the big gainer in all of this, has got a very comfortable lead with 15 laps to go. Knox is now P3 ahead of Gazowski. He's still yet to pit, but going up the inside of him, which now becomes the outside, is Che Hatch. So Hatch is risking it. He's going long on the brakes. This time the rear tires do grip, and he goes clean around the outside of Gazowski on the much older hard tires. Impressive move there from Che Hatch.
Yeah, that's showing supreme class at the moment there for Che. I'm a bit sad I missed his maiden win 2 weeks ago, but definitely seeing him renew that confidence again here at the Hungaroring. That is absolutely sensational. It's been referred to in the chat as well. Mark313 is very pleased and impressed with Che so far this campaign, and rightfully so. It has been a splendid uptick in form for Che, that's for sure.
That's Mark Schluter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Mark Schluter, yes.
Of course, yeah, a race winner in Super League, and yeah, always a lovely looking bloke, Mark Schluter, and proving it there by praising a competitor. We never know, Che Hatch might well be well, he has already done a couple of starts in Super League, but he may be going back there full time in the near future, maybe even next season. You never know. As Gazowski then into the pit entry, so his battle, of course, is with Koenig. Koenig has come out in P16 behind Sislagi, so of course there's been a big undercut going on there. So let's go over the order of things at the moment. So the only driver that's gone, I think, contra on strategy in the top 10 is Omari Watson, interestingly, who's gone softs to, I think, another set of softs, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, we have got, as out of the pits comes Gazowski. Koenig will easily breeze by, and there is Frank Hamming, desperately trying to make up ground. He's cleared Miram, and I think Stefano too, and stayed ahead. He's even cleared Muscat as well. So Hamming's been super aggressive, setting really quick lap times on the softs, but it's unlikely he's going to get this one set of softs all the way to the end. Then it might either be, there might even need to be a bit of management, or potentially some a heroic strategy call here if he can get the gap to pit into then. But yeah, we got Low, Rozak, Knox, Hatch, Cardas, Tylin, Grimalizi, all within about 12 seconds. Then Watson has gone for another set of softs. The problem for him is he's got flack on the hards. Omari Watson going only use the soft tire. Oh no, he is on the hard, so it is lying to me. There we go. Race Fee is lying to me. I did think Omari Watson had not completely let go of his senses, at least not yet anyway. So Watson is going to be going to the end on those hards, as indeed will Flack and Mikkonen behind. So it's Francesconi on the contra strategy then, on the softs there, who could be the big threat to Mikkonen, Flack and Watson at the end of this race if he can catch up quickly enough. And he is lapping in the 1 minute 23.7s, whereas the rest of these drivers ahead in the mid 24s and high 24s.
Yeah, so it is, as many would have expected, it is difficult to make definitive overtakes here at the Hungaroring. Francesco Grimalizi, the latest to feel that anxiety of watching his opposition in front, being able to block wherever needed. So the chicane here, turn 6 and 7. There we go, hitting the curbs aggressively on the right side, but fairly clean on the inside. And yeah, in this case, yeah, this is very much a single file sector. heading into turn 11, which will then bring the second sector split line. So yeah, that'll come up just about here. There it is. So now enter the final sector, and you can start to plot a move or two here, Ed, with the start-finish straight coming up. However, you can see the gap is pretty healthy so far for Thailand just ahead, and yeah, you get a good acceleration out of the penultimate corner, and away they'll go to complete lap 23 into 24.
Yeah,
Sorry, no, 22 into 23, beg pardon.
There we go. Well, Eoin, Grimmelisi, despite being undercut, nobody's going to be cheering on him on harder than Vopke Hoekstra, of course, who couldn't be here. I think Menno will probably be cheering him on as well, but even though he's not here in the other car, of course, with Muscat down in P18. And unlikely to make too much progress, as Mikkonen has been picked off already by Francesconi into turn 1. So the sub's working super well on lead HGP here. And of course, with Watson up ahead, that's where the battle is. We may have to forget about the battle for the team's championship in terms of first place, because Hugh Woodlow continuing to pump in those wins, and at the moment doing everything he needs to do to get win number 12 this season. With Che Hatch and P4 backing him up, it could well end up being Potentia versus HGP then for second place. And Watson P8 at the moment for Francesconi. If he can clear flat quickly, as quickly as he cleared Mikkonen, Watson may well get a bit worried here.
That could be the case. I think Hamming pitted again, so he's now on a 2-stop. Yeah, so he's way down in 18, so it's unlikely he'll get anything without attrition giving him a boost. So it is up to Francesconi to clear Scott Flack as soon as possible, if it is possible. But Che Hatch wants his podium streak to continue here, and he has a chance against James Knox just within 0.7 of a second, which is critical for his opportunity here. So we'll see if it is possible to launch one from far back. But at the moment, yeah, I think James has this covered. So yeah, watch your mirrors and it should be okay.
Yeah, Che Hatch looking for a third podium. It's incredible to think that he only made his first start in FS1 this season in Malaysia. So he's only made done 1, 2, 3, 4. This is his 5th event essentially. He's already a winner and a double podium finisher as well. So he's definitely a man with his start on the rise. James Knox as well is another driver that last year sort of went up from Academy into Formula Sprint 2. And it's now been he's kind of subbing in on a semi-permanent basis, it seems, for Juba in his namesake, another James, of course, at the Boulder Racing team then. So Knox responded well, reacted at the right time in terms of pitting onto the hard tyre. But of course, the problem with pitting so early is by this point in the race, he'll ever so slightly start to feel them begin to go away from him if he's not careful here. And that's, I think, what Che Hatch, who pit a bit later, is hoping to take advantage of as he gets very close into the final corner. You see Che Hatch taking a much tighter line. Knox trying to carry a bit more speed on entry here, and now trying to break the toe as they start lap 25.
Yeah, that gap has been halved from the last lap to this lap, and Che has his look around the outside. His preferred move into turn 2, either if he can plot his way up the high side. Yeah, he's thinking about it. James Knox says, no thanks, stay away from me. Oh, he could do it here. It's going to be close, but not quite. That was now.
Oh, he's still alongside.
Oh my goodness, centimeters in that one. But they're still playing fair and square. But James Knox, round 2 goes in his way as well. But he's all over the shop at the moment. And Che Hatch realizes, yeah, there is a free hit here. If I can just line himself up for the move and get it done. But thankfully, these two cars are still racing without any damage caused.
Yeah, while Knox very narrowly missed out on the podium in his 2 appearances so far at Silverstone and Spa as well. Particularly race on Spa where he finished at P4, but even at Silverstone, I think it was Grimmelisi that beat him to 4th position as well. So while Che Hatch is going for his 3rd podium, Knox would dearly love his 1st for the Bodal team, as there's a yellow in the middle sector. Somebody's hit trouble further down the grid. It is Mikkonen. Mikkonen is out.
Oh, goodness. That's heartbreaking.
Oh, with just 10 laps to go. So he's lost his front wing, and clearly the hards have gotten him into mischief here. Oh, dear. He's done almost similar to what Hamming's done, I think.
Yeah. Here he
Same
goes,
corner.
the left-hander. Oh, the same curb. Yeah, the same incident.
Oh, but the rear tire's gone as well. And the suspension arm as well. So
Yeah.
he was so committed that he went in full speed. By the time the rear had let go, unfortunately, it was game over then. So that's making it out of the picture, and that's the attrition that Frank Hamming will be pleased to see. He's already right behind Jason Muscat and trying to take that 16th place away. You never know. There could be a point or two in this for Frank Hamming, and that really shows you that even if you make a big mistake, you should never give up, especially in a Formula Sprint 1 then, as Che Hatch continues to try and find a way past James Knox. But now we see Cardaz, Tylan, Grimalizi, Watson all closing in. Don't forget about Francesconi lapping over a second lap quicker than the 6 or 7 cars ahead of him.
Yeah, keep up the good work there, Michael. You'll be in contention for some overtakes, but yeah, once the dirty air kicks in, then he won't be as quick most often. But we'll see now. He's keeping those brakes nice and hot in these beautiful conditions around Budapest. And now Che Hatch has a second opportunity here to get closer. And no, he won't be able to go side by side at that time. Damien Cardaz watching with intent to see what could happen. But yeah, I think Knox is still hanging on in there, heading to the final fifth of this race. It's getting closer to the checkered flag. But certainly that last lap for James was pretty impressive with 1/100th of a second, a critical advantage, even if it's a slender one. And now a good attack of the curb there for Hatch, and yeah, he carries on as normal. So yeah, 4 contenders at the very least for that podium place. Murray Watson and Grimalizi would love to get involved as well. And of course, Flack and Francesconi complete the top 10. They're all hoping to stake their claim for the best possible result, knowing the reverse grid draw will affect at least half of those contenders.
Yeah, indeed. Everyone from 6th to 10th in reverse grid contention. So Francesconi, the higher he can get up this into the sort of top 6 or so, the better chance he's got of being in part of the reverse grid draw and getting a really good starting position for race 2, which with track position being as important as it is at the Hungaroring, could well be absolutely critical. But also, who's going to do what Scott Flack did last season in searing hot 44.7 degrees Celsius temperatures, try and risk it on the soft tyres for the entire race distance in race 2. It'll be fascinating to see then, as again Che Hatch comes out. There's a good battle going on. Lucas Matalik is holding up a train of Heljanovic, Koenig, and the 2 Team Iris cars, of course. Gazowski also the last lap picked off Mark Sislagi for P14 as well. You can see there how big Sislagi is coming in. I did think he should be at the back of this train. Yeah, so the Alfa Sierra coming into the pits doesn't look like there's any damage. So I think with the gap he's got to Muscat, he's going to put on a fresh set of tyres because he knows that Muscat and Hamming have potentially got the pace to challenge him here. So a cautious strategy, but understandable from Alfa Sierra, given that they are hanging on to the final points paying position here.
Yeah, I like that call, and certainly Salagi, an emotional championship point on his home turf. That would be absolutely fantastic for him. So yeah, that's a wise call for Alfa Sierra if they can just coach their driver to the end with the fresh soft tire rubber. That would definitely mean a lot to him and the team to score a point here. But for the podium position, James Knox has not put a foot wrong just yet. Che almost got him a couple laps ago, and it's stabilized ever since then. It has to be realistically 3/10 or closer for an overtake to happen between those 2 drivers that are not gaining any more slipstream. It's just literally those 2, whereas Cardaz does gain a bit of a boost there, the double DRS. But now James Knox will pick his spot. Yeah, he immediately lunges to the right, which is the racing line for turn 2, and that prevents Che Hatch from yet another overtaking opportunity.
Lots of support in the chat for James Knox, and not surprising, really good to see the Englishman fighting against his fellow countrymen for that final slot on the podium. And this is a great little fight, but you can see in the background, Scott Flack is actually split off from the back of this pack to the tune of 1.5 seconds and into the clutches of Francesconi here. So Michael Francesconi tried to go for P9, and Omari Watson may well start just to get a little bit of a hurry up behind Grimalizi then, because he knows Francesconi is coming from here, as we see Heljanovic is being picked up on the run uphill into turn 4 by Gazowski. Of course, Heljanovic on the hards, Gazowski and Koenig both on the softs, and now both of them challenging Lucas Madalik for P11. These drivers not used to running quite this high up in a race one, so it'll be fascinating to see who is going to come out on top, if Koenig can make the move or not, or if Gazowski on the fresher tyres might be able to take advantage, as Madalik really struggling to stay within track limits there.
Absolutely, he is really gunning it at the moment, hoping that this car will react to his every input. Otherwise, then the opportunity will arise for Koenig, who's kicked up some of the dust off the AstroTurf there. Thankfully, not anything too treacherous there. Just the tires will be a little bit dirty, but they should be cleaned up about now. So here we go. Koenig's grand opportunity to go for 11th position for Team Iris. We'll see now what way he prefers to go. He's picking an eye line, but I'm afraid it wasn't worth it. He's backed off, but turn 2 could be far more profitable for him if he can spot his gap, but no, he can't. He's just got to sit back and watch. And certainly his performance P8 a month ago was very impressive. So the British Grand Prix was his best individual performance of the season, but as of right now, he needs to keep up this positive uptick of form. And maybe in race 2, he could even improve upon that again.
Yeah, Marcus is like, he just set the fastest lap of the race, 122.9 on those fresh soft tyres. And that actually meant that he closed almost 4 seconds that lap on Heljanovic. So he's 20 seconds behind. It's not out of the possibility that Sislagi might be able to just join the back of this battle with maybe 1 or 2 laps to go in the race. But yeah, we'll have to see. But it's certainly trouble for those front runners. Open the gap up for Sislagi, and he's taking full advantage of it here. Also keep half an eye on Francesconi and Flack then, given that Francesconi challenging is there. We see Chehatch is now caught up under braking into turn 1 to the back of James Knox, who is ever so slightly starting to really struggle. You can see Rozak is almost 10 seconds ahead of this fight now. So Chehatch will be very keen just to keep the pressure on and see if he can make something happen or not. 4th would be good, 3rd would be even better, and James Knox is just absolutely determined, come hell or high water, not to lose that podium, as Madalik, his teammate, now under attack, as round the outside goes Koenig on the run into turn 3. Koenig does the ring of death for Team Iris. Can the German get through? Yes, he can. He's got the overlap into turn 4, and that was a beautiful move there by Koenig. Very well judged on the soft. Madalik did well to hold on for as long as he did, but you can feel, having pit at the end of lap 13, those hards really feeling inferior relative to, as the rear gets away from him. We saw exactly this early on with Grimalizi, didn't we? And through now goes Gazowski, as Madalik drops to P13 then, and now has got to fend off Heljanovic and the rapidly closing Sislagi 15 seconds down the road.
Yeah, we had to watch the onboard there for Lucas, and of course he has to be very careful about not backing off too hard, because he had to respect the space for his opponent there, Gazowski. So that was a close call, but thankfully it all paid off in the end. But now Chehatch with 3 to go. He's picking that outside line again, but he has to watch out for Damien Cardas to be in his mirrors. So here we go. Bottle need this podium just to say, yeah, they have that strength and depth.
Risky.
When Gonzalez Green isn't available, but he's going to try to get his specialty. Down into turn 3. Still neck and neck here. Someone has to relent. They're wheel to wheel, and this is unbelievable. Here we go, around the outside. Chehatch is through. Martin Cardas somehow reacted in the nick of time. Knox has been picked off. The tires are gone.
Knox is not going to be happy with Damien Cardas there. That was quite a dive into turn 5, which is not usually where you try and do that sort of move. There was a bit of contact made. Knox has got going in P7 just ahead of Watson. The other thing that happened while Hatch was putting on that brilliant move there, it was great to see him and Knox go side by side for so many corners. But Francesconi has also picked off Scott Flack into turn 1 at the same time. So now he is right behind Watson, and now he's got the struggling car of James Knox just in front of them. So this is mission critical for Watson, and Potentia needs to get through here to keep Francesconi and HDP in the rearview mirrors. And look, Knox really has clearly completely lost his composure, as really struggling out there.
This is a terrifying situation. He's doing the
weaving very aggressively.
Yeah, that could be too dangerous. The Schumacher Barrichello, that could be deemed illegal weaving. So Watson Yeah, that should be covered. Oh, the tires are definitely shot here. There's no grip on them anymore. They're not reacting at all properly for him. So, yeah, the instruction should be just bring the car home safely and make sure we can get a position in the reverse grid drum for the draw. So yeah, this is heartbreaking for James. He's done nothing wrong, but I'm afraid the one incident has cost him dearly.
Yeah, certainly a heartbreak for Lorenzo Terovic as well, as Scott Flack goes a little wide in the background. He's desperate, sees that Knox is struggling, wants to get through before James gets things together again, I think. Luckily, if Knox does continue to struggle with those rear tyres overheating, Philip Koenig is about 13 seconds down, over 13 seconds down the road. Well, actually 12.3 seconds down the road, I should say. So there's still got plenty of gap on this final lap, as we see Flack himself, I think, is also starting to struggle as well. So I don't expect to see too many moves unless Cardas fancies a run at stealing back that podium off of Che Hatch. But I think Damien Cardas, after a difficult couple of rounds for Gary 82, he was on the podium in Bahrain, of course. I think he would very, very gladly take P4 here, given the fallow period it's been for that team. But look, here comes Flack to the outside into turn one. He's going to go full around the outside of James Knox. And Knox, the rear tyres are gone. They merely drive sideways into each other there, but Scott Flack is given room. And James Knox has to give up and realizes that there is no way he's going to hold on to that P9.
Oh, that is desperate again for James. He really is a splendid driver. His form has certainly shown it. But now another battle for 11th with Gazowski going to try the Che Hatch technique. They're still side by side. Someone has to relent, and it looks like Matthews has held his hand up and saying, yeah, I'll try again next time, Philip. Don't believe this is over by any stretch of the imagination. But for now, that's good defending from Koenig to hang on to that position. And Gazowski has one last chance, I think, into the final lap, which will now trigger for leader Laho.
Yeah, fair play to Matis Gazowski for trying to go around the outside of Koenig, as Koenig gets really sideways. He's pushed these softs very hard, actually, and now I think he's paying the price for that. So Gazowski knows if he keeps his head here, there could be a P11 on the cards for him, which Emerald Hummingbird desperately need, with Brozak, of course, scoring a lot of points in P2 in this race as well. But as you rightly point out, it is Laho and Hugh Performance that are looking for, Hugh Performance is a 13th win of the season after Che Hatch took their 12th last time out. So there is a bit of a winning streak at the moment for Hugh Performance. They've won the last 4 races in succession. This could be win number 5. And Laho, of course, has that, I think, 9 or 10 race winning streak from earlier. He's a 6 race winning streak is his longest one so far. Yeah. And that's the longest one for the team as well.
Exactly, yeah. They're on course to do it again, but here's Gazowski thinking about it, but if anything's going to understeer badly, he has to use a lot of turn-in to keep the car going. So that's advantage for Koenig again. The last overtaking point is realistically turn 12. I think that's the very last chance for Gazowski to pick off Koenig. But around the final corner, Alex Laho, dominance personified yet again, and Hugh Performance are the team to beat. That is just absolutely incredible. Lights the flag pretty much for Alex Laho. Congratulations yet again.
Yeah, how many wins can Laho get before this season ends? Because that's his 12th so far. I wouldn't bet against him ending with at least 20, maybe, the way things are going. It depends how many rounds we got left as well.
Records from last year could be smashed.
Yeah, 8 to go then. Brozak second. Catch gets his 3rd podium in 3rd, and Cardas just misses out in P4. Francesconi finishes just behind Watson, so Watson fends him off. And that's some good news for Potentia, who desperately needed it. They do marginally outscore HGP then, as Koenig just fends off Gazowski to the line. Good news for Team Iris there. Both cars in the points, 11th and 14th for Heldranovic, just coming through now.
Here's Jason Muscat, speaking of Multiforce, of course. He will help CM Tech to finish here. P17 not worth any additional points for the outfit, but at least he's picking up his skills behind the wheel again, and he's showed that he is well and truly capable of bringing cars home. And of course, poor Al Frank Hamming had that big smash that cost him dearly out of turn 9. So that will have to be reflected upon and make sure it doesn't happen a second time in our sprint race. So there's a look at our results, Ed. So take it away, please.
So there we go. For the 12th time this season, Alex Laho is the winner, and you can tell he is celebrating that one vigorously in the background. Patrick Rozak, once again, for what must be the third or fourth time at the very least this season. In fact, it is the fifth time that Rozak has been the runner-up actually the sixth, I think, time that he's been the runner-up to Alex Laho this season. Shea Hatch, for the third time, finishes on the podium. So 2 Hugh Performance cars in the first 3 positions. That means they extend their championship lead. Damien Cardas gets crucial points in 4th position. There he is for Guy 82, celebrating what's been a strong drive by him. Lucas Tylin, good to see his return to form. He's P5 for KKR. Francesco Grimalizzi gets another top 6 for this time for CM Tech Racing, with Omari Watson holding on to P7 from Francesconi on the alternate strategy. Scott Flack finishes P9, and last of our top 10, last potential reverse group pole sitter will be James Knox. Of course, the undercut strategy at the beginning going against him in the air, had to use too much of his tyres defending from Jay Hatch, but it was a good battle while it lasted. In P11 was Philip Koenig, who just held back the fearsome Matthias Gazowski. Lucas Madaluk, again, Bodel going aggressive on strategy. Madaluk has to be content with P13. I think he might be, considering he started outside the points in P19 on the grid. Heljanovic gets a couple more points for Team Iris, and the final points paying position taken by Mark Suslagi. Frank Hamming will finish just outside the points. He will rue that collision that denied him a chance to finish in the top 10. Muscat will finish P17 after his own issues. Wesley Stefano is P18 ahead of Percy Smirim, and then Raymond Van Sust should be our final finisher in P20 for MS Performance. Sadly, all 3 of these drivers crashed out of the race. We didn't see Galco or Riboli having their issues early on, but we did see Pessi Mikkonen having an absolutely huge accident, and that's a big shame, given he was another driver in contention for some decent points today in the top 10 as well. So there we go. Another race in the books. Laho is the victor. What a surprise. We did miss, of course, the first 4 or 5 laps or so, but luckily that will not be the case for race number 2. So we're going to go already, I guess, on a quick break before our second race begins. But don't worry, we won't be sleeping on the job. Race 2 will give you all the action uninterrupted. Don't go anywhere, and rejoin us after this quick commercial break.
Inside a place of... On the next pretzels. Kelty seat, the coffee beanery, Tyrek.
Flat out. Oh no! Oh no! Who's round? It's Magnussen. Oh, it's going to be a touch moment. It's in the barrier. Oh, they spun. Oh, this was a carnage.
And Menno Con's going to win.
God. It's a double pass. Could they take each other off? They don't. And Flack slide. It's a victory for the Tuties.
They touch. They're now. Oh no!
Soriano's gone around and met the wall. Mitchell will go through. Does it go uphill into turn 4? Oh, and round the outside. What a fabulous move.
Frelick will use all of his as well. Here he comes. He makes a move. They touch. They run wide. And Munio's going to get it. We're going 3 wide. Look at
Sing.
contact. Oh my goodness. Tyne has lost a wheel.
Time's out.
The dramatic race that we were teeing up the entire time has come to an end.
welcome back to the Hungaroring in Budapest. We are deep into our 10th round of the championship. Our 35-lap feature race is in the books. Who else but Alex Laho coming out the victor for the 12th time this season. But our 23-lap sprint race could be a very different matter entirely. Somebody between 6th to 10th in race number 1 is going to start from reverse grid pole. I've not been told, with all the issues with the broadcast in the chat, nobody has thought to mention the who the reverse grid pole sitter is yet. There we go. I've just been told by Chris Williamson. It is the man who went contra on strategy. It's Michael Francesconi, Eoin, that will start on a reverse grid pole, having finished P8 in race number 1. So that is good news, of course, for Amari Watson, who's going to join him on the front row. And great news, of course, for HGP then, who could really do the win in their quest to fend off Potentia for second and maybe even catch up to Hugh Performance a little bit in that team's table.
Exactly. That's a huge boost for Michael Francesconi to have the opportunity to start from pole position. And HGP need this little slice of luck, however they can get it. So the lead down to turn 1. If you get your launch correct, then yeah, you have a great chance. The run to the first corner isn't particularly long compared to other venues that we have ran and will run again. So it's a great opportunity for Michael and indeed for Mari Watson as well. Those two teams under pressure with their other teammates not able to score points or not able to attend, depending on which one you want to talk about. So that is critical for those contenders. But Hugh Performance are just running away with everything now. All the honours are landing on their lap now. And with Che Hatch still giddy about winning recently, then yeah, it is so important for them to at least say there is one team at least that can put an honest fight to them.
Yeah, certainly. The man who won the reverse grid race with Polo last season, Scott Flack, just missing out, having finished 9th and been overtaken by Francisco again. He will brew that and hope maybe to turn things around. To be fair, the last couple of reverse grid races, Scott Flack has, he said, despite having no pace, I've somehow finished on the podium in both of them, 2nd in Silverstone and 3rd at Spa as well. In both cases, the race leader, the race winner in both of those instances, Laho and Hatch overtaking him for the win, essentially. But of course, after race 1, Laho has extended provisionally that championship gap over Patrick Rozak. From 84 points, he's gained another 5. It's now 89 points. So Laho is very, very close, actually, to getting the gap to almost 100 points then as we approach the final, essentially, 16 races and 8 rounds of the season, of course. After this, Hockenheim, Monza, I think Indianapolis instead of Circuit of the Americas. Oh, it is Circuit of the Americas, sorry. Then Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and Brazil to round out the season. As you can see there, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds actually, not 8. So that'd be 12 races then.
The summer break is coming very soon indeed. So yeah, that period in the June, July, and indeed May as well, that has absolutely flashed by. So that has really taken me by surprise that we're so close to the summer break until the Italian Grand Prix. So yeah, we've race 2 tonight. We have the German Grand Prix and then the month break until the Italian Grand Prix in September. So yeah, poor old back to school. I'm sure some people will be very upset when September arrives and you have to go back to school or education. So yeah, I hope people will be in a good mood to begin September as opposed to a bad mood.
Some of us have got Cub Scout groups we've got to run. But anyway, don't worry. That's always good fun. And it's on a Tuesday as well. So if the FS2 team's doing badly, then I at least don't have to sit and watch qualifying. Nah, no kidding. I'm sure they'll do much better. And I can come back and be on the walk home, be instantly rewarded with, oh, look, top 10 grid positions. not to set the bar too high. But anyway, as we see, that looks like Frank Hamming. After disappointing race 1, he will start, of course, outside of the points in P16. He's going to be someone that's really got to push through the order. And really, you do sense Frank Hamming having lost touch with the leaders. It's really all now about the team's championship for Frank. the way this season is going for him in the last couple of rounds. There's been a couple of obviously missing Silverstone. There was the DNF in race 2 in Canada, which has been his sole DNF. To be fair, Frank has been incredibly consistent across the season. But today has already been the first major faux pas, because obviously there was the weather in Canada. But here in the dry, he just got too far over the curb, lost the front wing. And it's very rare you see Frank Hamming doing that. So Frank is going on pole, but Hamming will be the one having to make all the overtakes. But anyway, we're moments away from getting the grid ready for race 2 here at Budapest. Let's get ready to rumble once again. So then, for the final time today, we're about to get underway. Sorry, you are not watching WWE. You are definitely watching GPVWC Formula Sprint 1 and a 23-lap race 2 event. The fascinating thing here will be, with track position being so key, which of our front runners are going to go for the soft tyres and who's going to play it safe and go for the hard. If you're Michael Francesconi, he was pretty quick on those softs in the end of that second race. Might he be tempted to favour that tyre once more while we wait then with bated breath, Eoin, as the drivers congregate on the grid for the start, and these decisions are really going to set up how well they do in these next 23 laps.
Yeah, absolutely it will. And we see everyone on the formation lap, so maybe one driver or two will gamble on the softs. Temperatures are still very, very high here. Track temperature now 44 degrees Celsius. So it won't be at all gentle on the soft tires if anyone picks them. So I imagine it's really just a gung-ho tactic if anyone wants to gamble on a soft tire. But I've been surprised many times, so maybe someone else is going to make me look a little bit silly. But, let's carry on with the formation lap and the grid.
Yeah, these drivers do have a habit of making both of us look silly out. But anyway, let's look at the grid. Nothing silly about that. Michael Francesconi and Mario Watson on the front row, with Francesco Grimolisi and Lucas Tylen taking up row 2 in this reverse grid order. Damien Cardas and Che Hatch make up row 3. Then it is Patrick Rozak and our runaway championship leader Alex Laho on row 4. Row 5 is led by Scott Flack and then James Knox, both hoping to do better than race 1. Philip Koenig and Matis Kozowski occupy row 6. On row 7 we have Lucas Madaluk and Antonio Heraljanovic. In row 8 we have Mark Sislagi, joined by Frank Hamming, man third in the championship, desperate to put race 1 behind him. Jason Muscat and Wesley Stefano joined together on row 9. On row 10 it's Perseus Miriam, the Canadian, joined by Raymond Van Sust. Row 11 is Pessi Mikkonen, joined by Massimiliano Riboli, and the sole driver on row 12 is Gary 82's Michal Galka. Then all three of these drivers, of course, failing to finish the first race, so they'll be desperate to go much further all the way through to the checkered flag in race number 2. But from the back, it could get very, very chaotic here, especially with some of the drivers at the front out of order in our top 8.
Yeah.
So lining up now.
Sorry, I was just saying, yeah, the overtaking, you can get it done on the first lap. That'll be precious. It gives you that critical mind game advantage. So yeah, let's see if anyone is feeling.
Looks like, by the way, everybody in the top 14 on hards, apart from Alex Laho, interestingly. Slaggy and Hamming might also take the gamble. Lights already on for race 2 here at the Hungaroring. We roar into live any minute now. And it is Francesconi then holding his line on the outside. Watson tucks in behind, but it is side-by-side Grimolisi under attack from Filin and Cardas then on the run into turn 1. It's almost 4 wide in the battle for 5th and 4th positions here as Francesconi keeps Watson firmly in the rearview mirror. Laho on the softs has immediately jumped Filin and is now right behind Che Hatch. Then is it side-by-side Cardas trying to go around the outside of Grimolisi, and Grimolisi is having absolutely none of that from the Gala 82 Polish driver there. So Grimolisi holds on to third, but it's all one of the MS performances has gone off, and I think one of the Hummingbirds as well. It might have been Kozowski just avoiding him there.
Wesley.
Stefano's lost his front wing, and his car is not looking in great state, so we could have lost the Dutchman already from this race. As you see in the background, Kozowski making a move on Sislagi for P13 then on the run into turn 6 then. As we see the green flags continue, so there was a little bit of trouble briefly that's cleared now. But the order as we go halfway through lap 1 is Francesconi leading Watson, Grimalizi, Cardas, Hatch, Laho, Filin, Rozak, Flack, and Koenig, your top 10, with Knox being overtaken by Philip Koenig. So the 2Ks changing positions as we see yellows in sector 2, and it's Ribaleaf Overpower that has come to a premature end in his race. What on earth happened to the Italian there? Looks like he may have hit someone or just gone straight on, maybe a hardware issue.
Yeah, we can't rule anything out just yet until we know for absolutely certain. And Alex Laho in the slipstream of his teammate at the moment, so I'm sure the communication lines are very much open there for Hugh Performance, and they will wait until it's logical to do it and perform a swap if absolutely necessary. But I'm sure Alex will just want to conserve those tires for now and wait until it's absolutely safe to have a look for a P5 with his teammate. But Damien Cardas, it's no concern of his. He wants more points for himself and Gallery 82, so he's just got to keep working as hard as he possibly can to get onto the podium perhaps, or at least keep the Hugh Performance cars at arm's length.
Yeah, the other thing that's happened, it's not just Laho on the soft tyres that's made progress here. Mark Sislagi actually had a really good first lap, got up to P12. At the end of the first lap, Frank Hamming on the exact same tyres, the exact same strategy, simply just went up the inside of him into turn 1, relieved him at that 12th position, and all that hard work from Sislagi. Not undone, but his fun ever so slightly stolen by the multiple race winner here in FS1 then. So Hamming is now solidly in the points. If he can keep these soft tyres alive, then he could be supporting his teammate Francesconi, and that could do them a lot of good. But don't forget Omari Watson. He is very, very handy around here at the Hungaroring. Has fought for and finished on the podium before in FS1, and certainly Grimalizi giving a bit of a hard time, but Francesconi quite tellingly not able to escape. Now Watson steals the fastest lap back off in 124.9. As the fuel goes down in these cars, they will only get faster. But yeah, a lot of our soft tyre runners definitely taking a bit easy now that they made positions on the early laps. I think Laho is saving these sots for the later stages of the race, which he's made a habit of doing in these race 2 situations.
Of course, yeah. Very, very patient driver. Now, Alex has...
He's a lot more patient than he used to be.
Yeah. I know, yeah, he has had his hot-headed moments in the past, but definitely that seems to be less of a problem these days. For Omari Watson, though, he knows how important it is to maintain your form in race 2. I know Melbourne was his peak performance of the entire season to this point, and to try and pressure Francesconi, knowing that this has permutations for the team's championship as well. He knows how serious this is. A pure 1v1 fight between these two drivers will hopefully bring honest and exciting action to our screens. Grimalizi would love to be a big surprise winner for CM Tech, who have yet to celebrate even one podium so far this campaign. So if CM Tech can get a huge result tonight, then yeah, that'll definitely help them try and close the gap to those above them.
Yeah, of course, CM Tech in kind of no man's land in 8th in the championship, a long way behind Overpower. Overpower 176 points going into race 1, CM Tech 115. But yeah, if CM Tech can get quite a few on the board, they could pull away at the very least from Gather 82, who are on 88 points going in. But Cardas was, of course, just off the podium in race 1. He's just off the podium in this race as well. So Damien Cardas, we definitely can't rule out Garrett 82 doing some more giant killing feats here, which they've seemed to have made that little bit of a specialty of in the last couple of seasons, given that they have fallen on hard times and they're no longer really the giants that they used to be, but they are still killing other giants on occasion. As James Knox going side by side, he was trying to get back ahead of Koenig there, and unfortunately not able to quite get alongside and get the grip on the inside into turn 6. So now you can see the duo of Hamming and Sislagi on the soft tyres. They're a little bit closer to them, so it is pass or be passed in this frenetic midfield contest here. And James Knox trying desperately to hold on to P11 here, but Frank Hamming, I think, is very keen on sneaking into the top 10 if at all possible.
Oh, for sure. And The pressure from Szilagyi from behind should keep everyone very honest. There's Hamming, he's through. Oh, Koenig in trouble. He must have disconnected here.
No, he
went
off.
He's gone wide. Beg your pardon, he's gone way off course at the final turn. Any fundamental damage to the car, cannot tell from this angle, but that's a big mistake for Philip. And after the optimism I'm sure he felt after the previous round, you can see the car is already a bit wide. Oh,
Contact with Knox.
Potentially a bit of contact there. Certainly unsettled.
I'd love to see the
He just
onboard from
realised
Knox
he may
on that
have
one.
made contact. He might have shook his way away from the danger. So we'll see a better angle here from Knox's point of view into the final corner. So we'll stay on board with
So
James
is there a
here.
gap? Almost, but it was always going to close,
too
I
late,
think, is the
yeah.
problem for James there.
Yeah,
I feel a bit for Koenig there because James, ironically, has knocked him out of 10th position there. As now we see Madaluk. Oh, no, he makes contact with Gazowski, and Madaluk has lost his front wing in all the calamity there. So not a great couple of laps for Bodel. Both of their cars in big collisions there.
Goodness me. So no points for Matalik on current form. So that's a terrible shame for him. But you'll just have to repair the wing if he chooses to, or else just retire the car and realize it's game over. So that will leave us with Jason Muscat to rise to 20th position in just a matter of moments, perhaps. It's a long way back, I can sense, but for the time being, Amari Watson's not concerned about what's going on at the back. Maybe he is concerned about the scenes in his mirrors, because Grimalisi, let's give him his due credit, he's keeping it very, very honest. Sector 1 in particular was a good performance for him. It makes it very, very tasty to see which of these drivers could go for race victory. It's definitely 6 contenders at the very minimum going for the dreams of another trophy in the cabinet, or maybe a first trophy in the cabinet. Depends which driver is lucky enough.
Yeah, there we go. So bad luck for Lucas, says you, Eoin Harmon.
Says I. Yeah.
So yeah, certainly unlucky, especially after you got into the top 13, 14 in race number 1 as well. So yeah, the second of our Bodals is going to have a bit of a lonely race, as Knox has been picked up by Szilagyi as well. So James Knox, after being in that incident with Koenig, has now had another one of his own and is deep into the grass there. So he's going to drop all the way out the points. What on earth has happened to James Knox there, as the broadcast direction does not know what to do in reaction to that? Very confusing situation. So it looks like Knox slowing right down. Has he had some kind of collision here? Maybe bent the steering. Over the curb he goes, and into the wall. There we go. Just coming out of turn 5 there. So I think the steering is and suspension are absolutely buckled there, and he's just decided to get out of everyone's way.
Yeah, just continue to watch. Yeah, that's completely gone. Yeah, there's no chance. So Szilagyi, Gazowski, Janovic, etc. have all made their way through. But now for Patrick Roszak, championship, sort of the silver medalist, goes down the inside into turn 1 with Tylene. Wheel to wheel, almost contact. Very, very slim pickings there. Now Roszak on the outside does try and switch back to the regular apex. So yeah, defense from Tylene is the name of the game, and rightfully so. He's still very much in play here for a good result if he carries on like that.
Yeah, I think Tylene desperately wants to play with Alex Lahoe again. He's made a bit of habit of that in race 2s. Doesn't always end well, admittedly, between these two. So let's see if there's the bad blood can at least be abated, and we can see a good battle between Tylene and Lahoe then over P6. But of course, the interesting thing for Hugh, they've got Che Hatch ahead of Alex Lahoe. Obviously, the strategy at the moment is to keep Lahoe behind and try and save these soft tyres. But you might be wondering, okay, but why isn't Lahoe making a move now when he's got the softer compounder tyre at the early part of the race? And I think, there's even because Lahoe's got this big championship lead of nearly 90 points now over Roszak, who's still stuck behind Phylum and who's behind both of them. There's no real reason, there's no urgency for Lahoe to be let through by Che Hatch. Hatch, of course, right behind Damien Cardas, has got his own chances of maybe sneaking into 4th or even back onto the podium again in this particular race. And if you can clear a couple of drivers in front, that's actually more helpful to Lahoe than letting him through, because I think Lahoe then might end up just sort of in a direct battle with Cardas, whereas at least if he's got his teammate in front, that's predictable. He knows exactly what Jay Hatch is going to do. So I think it's very canny and very smart of Lowe to pace himself at this early phase. And we saw in this particular race last year in race 2 how well Scott Flack had to manage his tyres. He was, of course, in the lead of that race, whereas Lowe has not got the track position. So he has got to be tactical and he's got to be clever here. And I think Hugh are being quite wise at the moment so far.
Yeah, I'd certainly go along with that. I said it all the way back at the start. Once Che and Alex were 2 by 2, it meant that there was a bit of flexibility, but I thought maybe there'd be room to make a safe swap. But yeah, Alex is absolutely conserving those soft tires for a late flurry to try and go on and win the race. And there goes the repair
Knox,
bottle of Knox. Yes, so Knox just, or excuse me, that would be
Matterlock, yeah, okay, yeah. So Matterlock has made another stop, okay.
Yes, okay, so yeah, Lucas is getting lapped, so he's out of the way. For Watson, though, his last lap, 124.7, so that's pretty handy. But yeah, he's quicker in sector 1 at least, so yeah, Michael Francesconi, it's going to be hard earned here for HGP if they are going to be successful with the Italian driver. Oh, absolutely. Grimalizzi will have a say in this before the day is done. Almost into double-digit laps on the counter. But yeah, the tactical game is being played at the moment. No one is willing to risk it all. So soon into the race, we do have yellows in the middle sector. I can't tell for who in particular. Oh my goodness, that's James Knox, who is well and truly out of proceedings here. Major impact on the rear right, I should say. That is game over for James.
Okay, so what's happened here? Knox at the back of the pack, gets over the curb, pushing that bit too hard, and the car's completely out of control. Oh, he almost got it slowed down, but I think there was almost frustration creeping in. He saw it head to the wall, and rather than panicking on the wheel to try and avoid it, he's like, okay, I guess that's game over then. So disappointing end to Knox's day after he showed great pace and was fighting for the podium in that first race. As we see Rozak, I think, is now under attack from Scott Flack, actually, in the background. So Flack has picked this moment to up his pace a little bit, and Rozak almost caught napping there as Flack, nearly gets the overlap on the outside of turn 3 there. I'd love to see a replay of how that all kicked off. Hamming now catching up to the back of them on the soft. So I think Flack is seen Hamming coasting up to him in the rearview mirror and has thought, I got to get a move on here.
Check out our action replay of Flack. This will be into turn 1, of course. Oh, he waited very, very long to commit. But the Emerald Hummingbird shows him a reasonable amount of respect there. But then it's turn 2. You'll have to go the high way to turn back into the third corner. And there we go. So close yet so far for Flack. But yeah, not a successful overtake on Patrick Roshak there by any means. So he'll try again in a little while. I'd be confident of that. But Cardas, is he a driver with momentum in his sails at the moment? We'll see his lap. Yeah, it's pretty strong, right on cue with everyone else. 124.9s for everybody in the top 6, and then Patrick Roshak was quickest of all with a 124.8. So yeah, nothing to separate these drivers. They're all waiting their turn for the opportunity that'll decide the race in their favour.
Yeah, look at these top 4 ever so slightly starting to break away from Che Hatch here. So if Hatch can't keep up, then surely Alex Lowe is going to be on the radio to the Hugh Performance team, or to Che Hatch directly probably, and saying, look, you know, I've got to make use of these soft tyres. You've got to let me through, or I'm going to make a move soon. Don't try and hold me up, essentially. Because he's, of course, got Phylan breathing down his neck, which is, as we've seen for Alex Lowe in race 2's, not a comfortable situation. Not one little bit. So, yeah, Phylan, the super Swede, and very intent on taking down our championship leader if he's maybe chewed through these softs more than intended behind Che Hatch then. But yeah, as you say, Cardas keeping Grimalizzi very, very honest here, although this lap it looks like Che Hatch has closed back in a little bit. So it's nip and tuck here, but Francesconi crucially not quite able to escape the DRS range of Omari Watson then, which is keeping him and Grimalizzi very much in play. So Francesconi, of course, I'm trying to think back to when Francesconi's last win might have been. I think it might have been 2024 in Super Light, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a while ago. Yeah, he's certainly had a lot of success over the years. There's a yellow in the final sector. It's Sislaki going into the pits, I believe. Oh, and Koenig spinning again as well as he tries to recover. So has he gone off on his own, or has there been contact again there?
I have to confirm that now. Here comes the replay, which will show what has occurred. He does have...
That's Galka in front of him.
Yes, of course, yeah. So he's watching and driving along as normal. Oh, the back end just goes. Yeah, that's an innocent spin there. No particular blame there. Just unlucky what took place there. Yeah, just too quick on the throttle, maybe.
Well, he's frustrated after being bumped around by Knox while running in P10, isn't he? So just outside the points at the moment. But yeah, that gap to Galka. And Galka, of course, looking good now in P15 with that 9-second gap. He's got a good chance here of taking what I believe would be his third points at this. That'll be his third race 2 in a row where he's looking to score points then. So as attrition builds up, Galka is stuck with it. And that's good to see the pole starting to... build the minor points for Galka. Every single one is going to come in handy at the end of this season as Galka desperately trying to keep CM Tech in sight. And of course, they passed Scuderia Cap Clay, but Team Iris could still be a minor threat to them on 66 points. And we've seen Heljanovic and Koenig, of course, being very competitive lately and consistently getting both cars into the points when available.
That's extremely important for anybody in the midfield. Certainly relegation is never far away if you're not careful. So
it's a good thing you can't get relegated in FS2, isn't it?
That's very true. Yeah, FS2 is not considered.
I mean, they will try, no doubt.
Yeah, I know you can't get relegated to the academy to the teams, of course. So yeah, FS1, you don't want to go down without the experience of knowing what it's like to compete for points. So yeah, you've got to make sure you go on your best possible outing rather than leaving anything to chance. So this is so important for those teams who don't want to be relegated and stay in the FS1 category. Oh, and push. Yeah, Che Hatch pushing with all he's got now, but maybe the call will have to be made to move aside and let Alex Laho go for the podium positions if he can possibly break that train.
Well, it might even be a case of they have to swap the drivers so that Hatch can sort of defend from filing.
Yes.
And protect Laho that way, because we don't know. With the salts wearing a lot quicker than the hards, no matter what you do. I think Islo is very good at saving them in these situations, but even he can't fight the laws of chemistry and physics. So, although of course it is virtual, so it's kind of a simulation of them. As we see Heljanovic diving up the inside of Gazowski in an attempt to try and steal P11 away. You can see Van Soest clearing Mikkonen in the background as well. So all these drivers on the hard tyres. Heljanovic completely move up the inside into free there as Mikkonen gets very sideways in the background as the MS Performance gets the better of him. So there we go. Heljanovic showing his class and is now just outside, well, about 7 seconds outside the top 10, and is Hamming is very much stuck behind Scott Flack. So all of our top 10 in a train together, and then this is the next closest fight, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. It isn't very common to have so many drivers in the top 10 be as close as they are. Usually there is some sort of split. Not the case. You can see the intervals with a whole flurry of zeros.
5.5 seconds from our leading HGP of Francesconi to Hamming in 10th.
Yeah, that's incredible. But we need to see somebody make a courageous leap or make a mistake. That will change things a bit. But of course, as we move back to that battle after watching Heljanovic downwards, it is Frank Hamming who will be happy enough to score some points today. Just put it behind him and move on to the German Grand Prix in a fortnight's time. But if he can overtake anybody, then he'll be very pleased with that, and he'll celebrate with Francesconi if he can clinch this result for the team. But with the lap counter getting nervously towards the end, then I'm sure the pressure will ramp up and someone will feel like this is their race to win and they'll go for broke.
Yeah, it looks like Koenig has caught up to Slaggy and is now fighting for P16, just 9 seconds outside the points-paying positions here, as that Slaggy has gotten through him, maybe, of all the issues Koenig has been suffering from, because it looks like Mark's starting to pull away then. So Slaggy, of course, got the final point in the previous race, has now got to set off after Galka. Whether he's got enough laps to catch Michal Galka remains to be seen, but he is lapping over a second lap quicker, of course, on those soft tyres then. So Slaggy, I don't think he's pit for another set. I think he's just been keeping... oh, no, he has. He pit on lap 11. Okay. So Slaggy actually could be a major, major threat then to the basically bottom order of the point scorers here.
Yeah, with 3 more strong laps, then yeah, he's absolutely primed to attack Michal Galka for a point. And from there on, you'll hope for even more. Certainly his teammate, Pessi Mikkonen, will need to be aware that Slaggy is quicker on a fresh set of soft tyres. Lap 16 underway here for our leaders, of course. So the matter is still up for debate about who is going to win the race. But yeah, the top 3 have been pretty stable since the beginning. And Laho is just happy enough in P6 at the moment. But yeah, Che has done a stupendous job of just marshalling that top 5 place, keeping Cardas close, but making sure he doesn't do anything rash, which will distract a teammate Laho either. So it's always very tempting just to look behind you more often than it is to look in front of you. But Che has been very calm and reserved, doing exactly what he needs to do here after getting that podium in race 1.
And of course, this isn't just a 10-car train, it's actually an 11-car one, because Matiluk, a lap down, came out the pits right behind Hamming. He's got better tyres than the group in front, but of course, with them all being so bunched together, it's really, really difficult for him to kind of unlap himself from the group in front. He could cause problems for Hamming and co, but he wouldn't be very popular if he did. So Matiluk may well play it safe if he wants to sort of increase his chances of getting another drive in FS1 later in the season, especially with some of these teams particularly. You never know, with attendance being what it is sometimes, especially in these summer months. But yeah, Matiluk as well doesn't want to just play it safe, despite, of course, the bad luck he had earlier on with his spin, losing the front wing. He will want to at least end on somewhat of a positive. So if there's any chance if Hamming is dropping too far away and holding up Matiluk, then I think Lucas may fancy just getting a little bit of pride back and unlapping himself, at least from one of these cars, if not, or as we see everybody really hustling it through the 6 and 7 chicane. And yeah, the tyres. Oh, Mikkonen is out. There we go. Second race in a row. Pessi Mikkonen, unfortunately, he will not score points in this race either. The Finn's day is done.
This will be the first sector into the exit of 2. Now for turn 3, looks a bit out of position already. Yeah, that's disconnection. Yeah, that's an instant disconnect. So his exit from the corner looked a bit unusual, and then yeah, he didn't get to react in time at all as the internet just gave up on him, and that means we're down to 19 eligible runners.
Yeah, of course, puts Slaggy into the final points paying position yet again. So now 6 seconds separate him from Michal Galka. So could be a good little battle for 14th. I know it's not the most... for those watching, they didn't tune in to watch a battle for P14 probably. But with the battle for the lead being close, but nevertheless very much a stalemate, Francesconi still not making any mistakes. The last lap time he did set personal best 124.5, Watson 124.6. Grimalizio is also setting personal best 124.6 himself then. So it is nip and tuck, punch and counter punch between our leaders there, and it does look like Laho now in the 124.6 is lapping about 2 tenths slower than Che Hatch in front of him. So Filin, if Laho loses the DRS from Hatch, Filin could be quids in here to challenge for P6.
Oh, of course, yeah. There is a fabulous opportunity to be had here. Your performance still not willing to have a swing at a gamble, perhaps. They're waiting until perhaps all the other drivers are so exhausted from just following the leader basically with 5 laps to go. This is where the damage can certainly be done if you've got something in the tank still. Grimaleezy will not be too happy if he senses that Hugh Performance are going to have a go here and compete for a podium spot. He has worked so admirably here to keep a hold of this 3rd place. Damien Cardoz, of course, will certainly argue his case why he should get the Gallery 82 colours onto the podium as well. So that will all be on the line with 5 to go. Francesconi still leading, of course. That reverse grid draw was number 8, and that's it with him down to the ground. So if he can pull clear of Omari Watson, then that'll give him a massive opportunity to control the race to the very end. But Watson, you'll know that if he loses the toe, then Grimaleezy will be able to go 1v1 with him, and that won't be easy to deal with whatsoever.
Yeah, has Francesconi just been pacing himself and sort of toying with Watson here, or has Omari got something in the bag that he's been reserving himself? He took a really weird line into turn 13 the previous lap. This corner right here, I saw it on the exit, just went a little bit wide there. This time they take about the same line. As you see, actually all Cardoz getting a little wide in the background then. Clearly starting to, everybody's at this point in the race, temper's starting to fray. They're losing a bit of patience, being stuck behind one another. You can see Scott Flack as well has dropped off the back of Rozak and into the clutches of Hamming then. So once again, Flack at the mercy of an HGP trying to steal. Oh, as Hamming goes around the outside, as I predicted, the DRS allowing Frank Hamming to breeze through on Scott Flack then. Flack demoted down to P10 then. So Hamming, this has certainly been a much better performance than we saw in race number 1. No mistakes, he's kept his head, and 9 positions so far going his way. So he's gained a good 7 places. He might well fancy even picking off Rozak here, which Patrick Rozak can ill afford, given that he is about to see that gap to Alex Lowe extend yet again.
That's only a small change, but it's still extremely consequential in the long term.
Definitely for teams. They need HGP, need all these points. And Omari Watson fighting with one hand behind his back here with no Jack Mayer to back him up, as has been the case for a while now. So, yeah, HGP are going to take full advantage here. And with 2 cars in the race, rather than just the one, potentially have found themselves a little bit exposed. And Omari Watson doing his level best to make up for it. But even he just cannot find a way through on Francesconi at the moment. Michael, too experienced, too good, quite frankly, to put it simply, to let the opportunity slip out of his fingers. And he's had to wait a long time for this win. He's only got to wait 2 laps more now.
Yeah, stay nice and calm. You've done the hard parts.
Okay, Eoin, I'll stay calm.
Sorry, I mean to Michael, of course. But yeah, let's see how he uses that experience. Omari Watson maybe allowed to unleash a bit more power underneath him. We'll see the Sector 1 times and how the gap has changed. Here it goes. Yeah, big swing to Watson. 30.6 to 30.9, so 3/10. If he does that again on DRS at the end of the lap. Oh, that could be the moment now. Oh, almost the opportunity he craved against. Oh, it's Gazowski. I beg your pardon. Gazowski's made the overtake, and now that has thrown the Team Irish driver into a loop. He went wide into turn 4, and that was beautifully done by Gazowski. He pulled that one off superbly.
No fear today from Mateusz Gazowski, is there, as he gets a twitch on out of 10-6 there. Had to go the long way around Heljanovic. I'll love to see a replay of that. Van Sus now fancies to be the next to pick off the Croatian. But yeah, I did see Francesconi just through turn 4. Got a little bit sideways on the curb there, which allowed Watson just to get close in ever so slightly. So here we go, Gazowski up the inside. Heljanovic sort of left the door open there. And Gazowski did not need to be outside. They're all twitching at the rear. Gazowski full commitment on the outside, had the momentum, and now has the place. P11 to him. So this is turning into a very handy day for our second Emerald Hummingbird driver. As this is Che Hatch then. So Cardoz has dropped off the back of Grimaleezy, lost DRS, and Che Hatch is for, right, this is the moment I've been waiting for. Round the outside I go, and the Gallery 82 powerless to hold back Che Hatch then. So Hatch on the move. And that is exactly why Hugh Performance did not swap positions there, because they knew Che Hatch could make this late charge for the podium.
Oh yeah, and he's got the enthusiasm, he's got the confidence now to give it an honest go. towards the end of this sprint race. Gap is about 0.7 of a second, so yeah, he has to pull everything into this effort here. Alex Laho, since climbing to P6, has not moved from P6. He's happy enough just to wait until the very end of the race to do something. Poor old Damien, if he falls off the top 5, that'll be heartbreaking. He has done so much in this race just to maintain his focus, and he's tried his very best to preserve those tires, but it hasn't been the case for him. In the last couple laps, he's gone very wide at the final corner out, and this could be the inevitable as the last lap begins.
Yeah, I think he's used up a lot of these tyres, staying very close to Grimalizi here. Laho has been, by contrast, kept the softs alive for exactly this situation then. And there's a P5 here for Alex Laho then. It may not be a win, but these are still vital points here just to make sure his championship that he's as far ahead of Rozak as is humanly possible. By the way, previous lap, Sislaki did pass Michal Galka. Now Van Sust going around the outside of Heljanovic. They nearly lock wheels there. Heljanovic has to get out of it there. So Van Sust doing very, very well to get into P12 after a horrible first race performance. Good to see Van Sust on course for a few more vital points for that particular outfit then. But never mind how the British squad is getting on. Let's look at our Vietnamese pair, either side of the Dutch Garrett 82 machine of Cardes. Francesconi, half a second ahead of Watson, on his way to a first win of the season. Watson will surely have to come up second best here. Well, he's thrown everything he could, but Francesconi had enough in hand. 2 more corners to go. It's going to be a third win of the season for HGP, one that strengthens their second position in the championship. At the final corner now comes Francesconi for the first time in at least 2 years. It is Michael Francesconi who wins in GPVWC. Race 2 in Hungaroring in Formula Sprint 1 goes to the Italian. Watson will take his 4th podium of the season in second. And Grimalizi takes his very, very first podium in FS1. Brilliant job for the Italian and for CM Tech Racing taking their first podium to hold back Che Hatch, Cardas, Laho file in, and there is Cardas spinning off. And looks like Amari Watson has decided to finally, we did say he was going to lose reason at some point during this event, and it looks like it's just after all the work is done and the race is over that the rear wheel has mysteriously decided to part company through unexplained means. Koenig, frustration for him, he will finish just outside the points. But nonetheless, after 2 big issues, you've got to say well done for Philip to at least get to the end there, as Miriam is just going to be beaten by Jason Muscat in the fight for P17 here.
Yeah, so it'll just be 19 drivers to see the checkered flag in the end. So, in all honesty, yeah, it wasn't at all the dramatic ending I would have hoped for. It's not going to be a race that'll be remembered for very long, but that's not to rain on Michael's parade. He has been the worthy winner from that reverse grid pole. He did everything that was required of him, and there was no way through for Watson or Francesco, and they'll just have to say, yeah, that wasn't our day, but well done to them. So let's run down the order with the unclassified results.
Sure thing, Owen. So Michael Francesconi for the first time this season taking victory for HGP. So HGP, one of the few teams that's got both drivers into victory, and the other, of course, being Hugh Performance. Omari Watson is the runner-up for Potentia to at least limit the damage and keep his own Drivers' Championship hopes just slightly alive. Francesco Grimalizi, a brilliant performance. We knew this podium was coming, and CM Tech will be absolutely over the moon, particularly if Opke Hoekstra and Menno Kant, the regular drivers, not here today. The only thing that would have made them happy is if they got the podium themselves, and there's still a few more races left this season in which they can do it. Che Hatch has to settle for 4th this time around, so it's not going to be 3 podiums in a row, but to be fair, he gave it everything with that late move on Cardas, who has to settle for 5th. Laho on the softs. We thought he might be a bit of a shock threat for the podium, but Laho in the end, playing it cautious, didn't need to do anything silly, and P6 is still good point, especially after he didn't finish at Spa. Of course, he needed a solid race too, rather than a spectacular one. Lucas Tylin stuck behind him in P7, but does hold off Patrick Rozak. Frank Hamming does get through on Scott Flack to finish P9. Hamming, of course, making a huge recovery, gaining 7 positions from where he started. Behind Scott Flack, our resident Australian, who ran the top 10, we had Mateusz Gaz with that fabulous move on Heljanovic, which is certainly the moment of the race. He has had a really, really good day, hasn't he? In both races, scoring strongly. Van Sust, DM's performance into the top 12, passing Heljanovic himself, who has to settle for 13th for the Team Irish squad. Mark Sislagi, double points in his home event. Sislagi will be happy about that for Alpha Sierra. With the 2 pit stops made in this race, he did make the move on Michal Gauka on those much fresher tyres. But again, double points for Garrett 82. Michal Gauka will at least be happy to hold on to the final point. Sadly, Philip Koenig, the incident with Knox compromising his race, he finishes just outside the points. Jason Muscat as well, after a difficult race 1, also finishing a P17, but does hold off Persis Mirman, the 0-1, a driver that is gaining experience and getting better all the time. Lucas Madaluk also with some bad luck, meaning he is the final finisher, a lap down in P19. 2 retirements, though, for Pessi Mikkonen. Fast, but sadly, the Hungaroring was not kind to him. It was not much kinder to James Knox, it must be said. All sorts of dramas for James today. First, the contact with the Team Iris of Koenig, and then with the wall after turn 5 that destroyed his suspension. Massimiliano Riboli also having a mysterious retirement early on, along with Wesley Stefano. And that completes all 23 cars that entered the race. So, and it also completes our day of racing here at the Hungaroring. Eoin? So we'll wait and see if anybody wants to be interviewed by us. Maybe they're sick to the back teeth of us. I wouldn't blame them. Well, maybe me anyway. If they're angry at you, and then they have to go through me. As is usually the case in the interviews. But yeah, let's, while we're waiting, reflections on what we've seen. Alex Laho, of course, victorious in race number 1 from Rozak and Shay Hatch with that brilliant 3rd place battle between Hatch and Knox. And then race number 2, Francesconi beating Watson and Grimalizi home. So certainly Grimalizi, the big underdog feel-good story of the day with that 3rd position after a strong race 1 as well.
Of course, yes, the M-Tech will be so thrilled to have the podium in their name here, having formed as a brand new team in the winter. They were given a successful application, so congratulations to them for getting onto the podium. But yeah, of course, we do have to admit it was a great shame that we missed qualifying and the start of race 1. The first 5 laps were unable to be recorded, so that's an awful shame. But we have to commend the team for working so hard behind the scenes to get the show back on the road, and we did get to see plenty of action nevertheless. And I'm hoping some of our interviewees can describe what happened in qualifying and the beginning that we were unable to watch for ourselves.
Yeah, we've got Alex Laho, James Knox, and Michael Francesconi. So 3 of our main players then. I'm just looking in the chat as well in FS1, and Scott Black is asking how on earth Frank Hammond got the soft to last at the end. Leading some interesting and entertaining responses then. Also seems Yo Sopana wants an interview, but I'm sure he just wants to chat to the other drivers, because I'm pretty sure Yo wasn't in that race. I mean, he could have jumped in if he really wanted to, because it didn't seem to be. There seems to be a lot of cars with no one to drive them. It must be said at this point in the season, which is a little disappointing. But yeah, I suppose there was always going to be a drop off to some extent as the season went on. Anyway, shall we get the man who took victory there in that second race, Michael Francesconi, in? Because I'm sure we haven't talked to him all season. I would love to hear Michael's thoughts.
Yes, please do.
So, Michael Francesconi from HEP joins us, of course, for the first time this season as a winner. And Michael, of course, you subbed in partway through the season and for Emmanuel Gaxella, and have since taken on the drive full time. Congratulations. That was a really, really good defensive job. Obviously, the draw really giving you a great opportunity after a strong performance on the alternate strategy in race number 1. So did it feel like race number 1 was one where you had to do all the hard work, or was Omari breathing down your neck the whole way in race 2?
Hi everyone. So no, race 1 for me was the best strategy because I started on P10, but overtake is impossible. As impossible. We solved a very, very difficult overtake. I tried something different because if I start with soft, I was behind like a train. So I don't know. I did a bad qualifying lap. My problem is this. My fault. And race 2, I was lucky because starting front, I managed the tires from lap 1, and Watson stayed very, very, very close all the race. Last laps, tires starting go off, so my heart vibing. But yes, Watson tried hard to attack me because I saw on the last sectors that he tried to stay close to me, but my lucky, I take the win. First time for this season.
Yes, I think the first time in a number of it, was it 2024 was your last win, or was it earlier than that?
Maybe yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe no. Maybe before. But yeah, some years ago. Yeah, right.
It definitely returned to form, and I'm sure a lot of fans who've been following you for a number of years in GPV will be delighted to see you back, especially our Italian fans, Michael, of which there are many, of course.
Yeah, sure. My father watching the race, so he was there. So
Yeah, Forza Francesconi.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right. No, I'm happy because I test a lot with this car, but I don't find the feeling for fight on the front. Alex impossible to take in another level, but very difficult to fight. And the dirt here don't help for nothing. But I have fun, so that's the important.
Yeah, in the end, that race 1, the move you made near the end on Scott Flack proved to be the difference between you getting on reverse group pole and having to start P9 then. So Scott will not be happy, but you clearly delighted. So let's not rub it in Scott's faces then. It's the luck of the draw. It could have gone either way, really. But anyway, Michael, I'm going to let Eoin just take over quickly. Eoin, any questions for our latest race winner of the season?
Hi, Michael. I suppose let's look ahead to 2 weeks' time in Germany. Are you feeling confident that your momentum can continue at the Hungaroring?
I hope. I hope, but something I understand something about the car, but I'm not sure because in front we are very close. Only Alex another level, but the others we are very very close. So if you do a bad qualify, you very difficult to recover. Maybe Hockenheim we can overtake because there is a very long straight, so maybe it's possible. Yeah, maybe we can have fun and try to fight for the podium.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks very much for answering my question there, Michael. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, Michael, and best of luck to yourself and Frank Hemming, the entire team at HGP, for the remaining 6 or so rounds of the season. So, as we let Michael Francesconi leave, who should we go for next? Let's go for... Sorry, I'm interrupting you, Michael. Do you want to say goodbye?
No, bye-bye.
Okay, ciao. And let's get in James Knox from the Bowler Racing team. Let's let Alex wait a little bit longer. So, James Knox joins us now after being right in the thick of the action in both races, James. Obviously... a brilliant. Unfortunately, we missed it because of all the technical problems. But a very, very a strong qualifying and a decent start, and then decision to pit early in race 1 allowed you to undercut back past Che Hatch into 3rd position. From which case on, you end up having a very, very close fight with him. And unfortunately, it didn't quite end up going away. Talk us through what happened from your perspective.
Yeah, here's it. Yeah. So race 1. Started 5th, got a good start, stayed in 5th for the majority of the first stint. My softs were struggling a bit, so I decided to pit early, see what would happen. And I managed to get my hards a lot longer than I thought I would, holding off Che Hatch. But this is a track that you're able to keep in front of the guys behind quite easily. So if just a couple defensive lines, and I just thought, I could keep Che Hatch behind, we'll be fine. I think it was lap 32, I don't remember. He got past, a really good battle, very clean, very respectable. So, my, plaudits to Che Hatch was great. But unfortunately, Kardash, obviously I had a bad exit after me and Che went side by side, stuck his nose in, a bit of contact, happened. So I was really annoyed at the time, obviously, but now I've had some time to get over it, and it is what it is. I mean, especially since in race 2 I made a very similar mistake. So it happens to the best of us. And speaking of race 2, bad start, couldn't get off the line properly, lost a position off the start, and then it all went downhill from there. Really, tried to get back past Koenig, failed miserably, and then.
Actually, you did succeed because you smashed him out.
Well, I succeeded for about half a lap, and then I was met with the wall. And then I went to pit for 60 seconds, and then it was only at that point that Majulik tried to come in, and he had to go back around again. Went back out, and then I lost control and hit the wall because at that point my head just wasn't there, unfortunately. But sorry for the very long answer, but that's sort of the lowdown of what happened there, really.
Yeah, of course. It's difficult because both the regular Bodal Racing Team drivers weren't there today, so you sort of had to take up the lead driver role. Obviously, last couple of races you were so close to the podium, and I know you really wanted it today. Does this give you a bit of confidence going into Hockenheim if you get the call up again? Because I understand Juba's availability is a bit up and down at the moment.
No, I mean, I only got back from work at about 5:30 our time, so I only had about an hour and a half of practice. It helped that so I've done FS2, so it's confidence bringing. I think every race my confidence grows in FS1, even after today. I think it's good to have mistakes like that because you can always go back and learn from them. I always say that, and I think going into Hockenheim, if I get the call up, sure, I'll happily do it. Maybe a bit more practice, I think, for Hockenheim, because I think that is probably the reason I didn't have a decent enough quality, I think, today. And I know P5 is still good, but I'd have liked to have maybe been P3 for tonight, because Roshak and Nahu are just unstoppable at the moment, aren't they? So, again, it is what it is. These races happen. It was bound to happen. But at the end of the day, I can go into Hockenheim if I'm called up. I think still feeling all right.
Well, I really enjoyed the show you and Che put on. It was spellbinding to watch, and it's probably one of the highlights of otherwise a fairly processional race. Oh, and any questions for James after today?
Hi, James. I suppose a quick one. If you did get to build up any relationship with Lucas, what did you think of his performance today? I know it was a bit unlucky for him as well, but did you get to work with him at all? I know you didn't practice much, but how did he get on?
Yeah, I mean, sorry. Me and him were in the same VC. We spent the same amount of time practicing, so all things considered, I think he did an excellent job, really. P30 in the first race, unlucky in the second race to have that contact with, I think it was Kozowski, was it? In the Emerald Hummingbird, I think it was. Yeah, they made contact. Very unfortunate. I saw the replay. Again, it happens. I'm not sure if it's his first race in FS1. Probably going to need to be correct.
99% confidence it was, yeah.
It was,
first time this season, yes.
Yes, so incredible. To get points on debut, it's great, and he's only started this year, and he's definitely proving himself to so many people, and it's really great to see. Me and him, I think get on quite well, but after today he was. I think he can even after having him race 2. I think he can happily pat himself on the back, and I'll all plaudits go to him, really, because he did very well, even with that race 2, and come back from where he did and finish where he did in race 1. I think is also very commendable.
Brilliant stuff, James. I really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you again for Hockenheim if indeed you get the call.
No, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, James. Always lovely to talk to James to an extent, and becoming a regular feature in this interview room, along, of course, with our next man. He's had to wait the longest of all of them. It is, of course, the one, the only, Alex Laho, who joins us now. Sorry to keep you waiting, Alex, but
Hi.
12th win of the season. Sorry we missed the quali lap and the first couple of laps of the race because we had a load of technical problems on our end, and we didn't want to keep you guys waiting, but we did fix them. And we got to see you dominate at the front. There wasn't too much to say. And then in race 2, decision to go for the softs, an interesting one. You end up sort of trailing Che for a lot of the race, nearly getting a chance at Cardaz at the end then. Do you think it was the right choice in the end going for the softs, or should we just talk about race 1?
I mean, I guess we can skip to race 2. I tried something else because I knew the pace was going to be very chill, so way less hour than like a usual race stint. Well, this track, please remove it off the calendar, please. You cannot do anything on it. You legit cannot do anything on this track. Even on the soft, like the first 5 laps, I had 0 opportunities to overtake Che. So at this point, just wait for a mistake or like just wait for a bad exit, which never happened because you can't really make a mistake with this pace. So,
yeah. I suppose you can't really say to Che, let me through for the championship because
he's
so far ahead at this point that it's kind of immaterial.
He does his race.
Yeah, exactly.
He did his race, and I told him like I don't care. I'm just gonna park the bus if I have to. And the bus has been parked. So nice.
When you saw Luca Thailand behind you, did you feel slightly worried, or did you think, no worries, got this guy under control?
I never check the rear mirror all race.
Probably for the best, really.
I didn't really look behind, just ahead to see what I could have done.
I guess you got so used to not using it in race 1 then.
Oh yeah. I mean, apart from Bahrain, but that's yeah. It was,
well, that was a while ago, though.
That was a while ago. Yeah. That was like one PhD ago.
Oof. So, speaking of PhD, with the PhD in maths that I don't have, because someone else has kindly filled in the sheet for me, I believe Yolita Rozak, going to these final 6 events, is 91 points, then to nearly a full 100 again. We don't know what you have to do to mathematically tie it up several rounds early, but when is the schedule then for the coronation, Alex? Are we in that sort of territory yet, or are you going to try and keep us in suspense?
I will DNF deliberately on Hockenheim, so I can.
I'm not sure I believe you.
I'm not sure I believe myself either.
Yeah, it's almost like I can tell you're lying because your lips are moving. Anyway, if only you lied as well as you drove.
How does he know?
I'm sorry. I feel like I've just waited to the end to bully you, essentially, Alex. It is not the most professional thing in the world, but I have had half a glass of wine before coming on here. Anyway, so that's what I do in the break. Don't judge me. That's what I do in the break. Don't judge me. Anyway, I'm just kidding. All right. I said I'm out of questions. I'm out of questions. I'm not kidding. But anyway, Owen, have you got a question for Alex?
Yeah, I sure do, Alex. I know you said apologies for the Boarfest before the race even began. Well, we had our tech problems, but
I didn't say it was.
No, I mean Alex.
Animals. No, okay.
Yeah,
boring.
Yeah,
okay.
It was boring.
I suppose Hockenheim, as you say, would that be one of your favourites on the calendar compared to tonight, or is it one that you think just get it over with?
I mean, Owen, at this point, everything is better than Hungaroring, am I right? Like,
well, Bahrain's your least favourite of the...
Even Monaco, for all I care. Even Monaco could have been better.
Right.
No, but yeah, it was apart from race 1 where I almost died like twice at the end of my soft stint, nothing else really happened.
I suppose you won it by 7 seconds or approximately that.
Yeah, the hearts carried.
Yeah. So yeah, I suppose your qualifying lap, we didn't get to see that at all, but any memories from it, or is it just a case of, just get it over and done with?
Oh yeah, great lap, great lap. Just the only mistake I did was dipping the rear left on the gravel trap, on sector 3, just before the 2 hairpins, the gravel trap there. I dipped the wheel like you would dip like a chicken tender with sauce, and lost like more than half a tenth. That's it. Would have been a 0.7. I'm so mad. Like it did matter. No, it didn't matter. But that's it. Well, it was a really great lap. That's all I can say. That's my PB.
Oh, splendid! Yeah, it was a heck of an effort, and it gave you that pole position. So yeah, keep up the good work, Alex, and see you again soon.
Yeah, I cannot complain. Thank you for the stream, despite the issues. I see you guys in 2 weeks. Wait, there's the summer break?
No, it's 2 weeks, and then the summer break. So.
Okay, that's the last one.
No. Yeah, the start of August.
I wanna be on vacation.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in which case I have to wait longer for you to start the winning streak again in Monza then, I guess.
Chill, you're gonna jinx it.
It's a good thing that you've got that 91 point gap, let's just put it that way. And that's considering you already missed San Marino and Imola as well. Because you were at Le Mans. So, yeah, it's a good thing that when the availability isn't always there, that you've got that massive points gap. And,
that was not bad. That was not bad, to be fair.
I don't think it was planned that way, but it's panned out that way. So.
Planned.
Anyway, it's always lovely to talk to you, Alex. Thank you for another fabulous. But I think Hugh Performance have 2 5-race winning streaks so far this season. There's Japan through to Saudi Arabia, and then Silverstone all the way through to race 1 here, because of course Che got the win in race 2 in Spa. So yeah,
that's correct.
We'll have to see if you can do more than 5 in a row. But even that in itself is incredibly impressive for the team to have done it twice this season, given it's a new team as well. So Vietnam is going to be cheering you on, and yeah, best of luck. Not that you need it for the rest of the season. And yeah, Alice Blues and Le Marseille, all the rest of it. Baguette ho.
Yes. Allons enfants de la patrie.
Okay. Yeah, all my French knowledge used up there. I did Spanish GCSE, don't blame me. I can have a conversation with Carlos, but yeah.
I could sing the World Cup song if you want, but no, that's not the time for it.
No, I think that brings back too many bad memories for both of us. But anyway,
I see you guys soon. I really have to go as well.
Congratulations on win number 12, Alex Laho, who leaves us now with yet another winner's trophy in his overflowing cabinet. No doubt he's going to exceed 20 wins at the end of this season.
Don't jinx it.
I don't think I need to. Anyway, so Owen, as Alex Laho departs in a few short minutes, or might just hang around, who knows. That brings us to the end of a chaotic broadcast. Can't say the races were quite as chaotic, but as I said, still had their moments. And yeah, Laho and Francesconi taking the wins. But yeah, Hockenheim next up then, I guess, to look forward to. And that should be a much more frenetic affair, I think, on track. With often the weather as well at Hockenheim playing a big factor too.
Yeah, I'd certainly go along with that. Yeah, certainly in terms of the awards night and all that, it won't be a Hungarian Grand Prix of the season sort of thing. It's just one of those. It happens in racing and sim racing, so you just move it on. But yeah, full plaudits to Fabian and the background media team for helping the stream to actually go ahead, because it's so disappointing for any driver and team leader to not see what happened in the race as it happens. So it's a credit to everybody for not quitting despite the difficulty. So yeah, that's what this championship means to everybody. It really is important, even if we have trouble again for the second time in a row. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a loss of the Belgian stream, but we got that one back as well. So yeah, it's never anything to take for granted. The show shouldn't be basically put to one side without severe efforts and significant efforts on our side just to keep it going. So yeah, it means a lot that we could still bring the action to you, and hopefully the VOD people will recognize that it might not be the original runtime, but it's still a show that is worth a little bit of your time.
I mean, these interviews have gone on a bit, maybe no one will notice, but we're just thinking of the runtime. But that's very well said, Owen, because yes, we did get very, very close to not running a broadcast at all. So I'll echo exactly what you said. Thank you very much, Fabian Jungbluth and Remco de Zeeuw and the entire GPV team in the background, Chris, Toby, all the rest, for keeping the show on the road. Thank you to you, Owen, for joining me tonight. Thank you to everyone on track who put on as best a show they could. And thank you to everybody watching at home. I've been Edward Hunter. That's round 10 of the Formula Sprint 1 Championship in 2026 for GPVWC in the books. Join us in 2 weeks' time for round 11 at the Hungaroring, and join us next week, of course, for all the action in Superlights on Tuesday with Toby Davies, Alex Folks taking you through that, and hopefully it will be Caitlin Penny and Ross McIntyre finally reunited, those two, on a Super League commentary. So hopefully they won't need me to fill in again. But if you're listening to me again next week, you'll know why. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching. That's all from us. Good night.